Hey everyone, hope you're having a good Saturday. My name is CollegeSportsREVIVED and it's time to buckle up and enjoy the start of a new season of Fordham Rams Legacy Mode action here on College Hoops 2K8 featuring the main man Coach Carter. Season 3 tips off today with a surprising amount of optimism surrounding the Fordham basketball program. We made a modest yet tasteful 7-game improvement in the second season of this series, and we closed the book on year 2 with the best recruiting class to date. Kai Hendry, a 4-star point guard, and Bennett Pinkala, a 72 overall 3-star, are likely joining the starting lineup, while Coach Carter's former big man from Richmond High School, 3-star junior battle, will be redshirted this season. Year 3 won't begin in the same fashion as the first 2 seasons. We opened up season 1 in the Carrier Dome against Syracuse, and then last year's opener was in Utah State. But this time around, we are the favorites as we hop right into our preseason tournament against the Southern Jags, who enter as the 71 overall team, and winning this game may present us a chance at redemption against Nebraska, who narrowly beat us in our preseason tournament last year. Before we hop into the action, we have some loose ends to tie up, including highlighting our day 1 rotation, starting with the new faces now donning the maroon and white. Kai Hendry looks to be all as advertised, starting with an 80+ shooting rating from all levels while presenting some playmaking and defense. Bennett Pinkala is our second freshman starter, filling in for Kate Sorensen at the 5, who has some good back-to-the-basket skills and overall dynamic offensive skill set. Milos Filipovic was back in Season 1's recruiting class, a European point guard with crafty shot-creating ability. He joins the rotation after redshirting last year, and Rondell Dunnington is new to the team after walking on over the offseason and making the cut. An upstate New York kid who probably won't play a lot in Season 1, but he knows how to throw his weight around. The starting lineup at the 2, 3, and 4 remains the same. Murphy slides back to the shooting guard after a year at the point. Higgins is back at his native forward spot, and Fabian Swanson retakes power forward. All 3 guys are seniors now. We'll hope to see some of these bench pieces make a name for themselves, because that is a lot of scoring we're losing at the end of the year just with those 3 guys alone, as well as 6-man big Corey Terrell. He's also a senior. Dustin Black looks to build off a strong finish to his freshman year, and Shen Lee, the now sophomore, is fighting to keep his name in the rotation with all of the new frontcourt faces on the team. Filipovic should see some minutes day 1, but underneath him we most likely won't see KJ Bigsby or Rondell Dunnington a lot, unless an injury or underperforming player forces Coach Carter's hand. The roster ends at 14 total players, with 12 total dressing on game day, as wing player Craig Stone will receive the red shirt in his first year. He's a freshman with high upside at a B potential, but he needs time to become more of a dynamic player. He's a decent shot creator from mid-range, and Junior Battle won't be suiting up this year either. It was a really tough call to make. I didn't see him having a concrete path to playing time in year 1, so why not redshirt the athletic freak to better round out his game and get him prepped to play big bench minutes next year? He'll be bringing plenty of energy and rim protection to the paint in year 4. So that's the lineup preview for Season 3. There's only one more thing to check off our list before we get underway today with some action. It's the annual season preview show, showcasing the nation's top 25 heading into the season, top players, and other miscellaneous news entering the new year. So sit back and relax. I'll turn it over to my guys, Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg, to preview the new NCAA season, year 3 right around the corner.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Greg Gumbel here with my partner, Clark Kellogg, bringing you the 2K Sports Season Preview Show. Here are the Big 5, the top teams in the country as we begin the season. The North Carolina Tar Heels come in as the #1 ranked team, followed by Texas Tech, Ohio State, Kansas, and Florida. Clark, what's your take of the teams that make up the top 5?
I like the potential of each of these teams. I think all of them have a chance to win the championship this year.
North Carolina is in the catbird seat to start the season, sitting pretty in the #1 spot. They've got a whole crew of high school Mr. Basketballs on this team.
A team is usually happy to land one Mr. Basketball, but with the number they have, this could be a golden era of basketball success at this university. There's nothing but good times ahead.
Here's the next group of teams in our preseason top 25. What do you think of this group, Clark?
The upside of these teams far outweighs the downside. Expect at least half of these teams to finish the season in the top 10, and 1 or 2 of them have a chance to be right at the top.
What do you think of this collection?
It doesn't get much weaker as you go down the list. Even near the end of the top 25, we see teams that could make a serious go at the national championship if things fell into place. I wouldn't count anyone out.
Usual, we have a lot of new coaching hires to tell you about as we start the season. Here are the coaches who made a change this offseason. Some very interesting moves on the list, to say the least. We've come to the part of the show when we look at the top players in the nation and unveil the list of our preseason All-Americans. There before you are the 5 first-team All-Americans as we begin the season, and what a list it is.
Gatson is the first player on the list for good reason. Feels like this guy's been playing college basketball forever. This will be his 4th year as a starter. But I still don't take him for granted, and I think this will be his best season of all of them.
Keegan
Is simply a spectacular player. He's a former high school Mr. Basketball he was Georgia's Mr. Basketball in high school. A player who is used to being such a dominant force usually carries that confidence with him to the next level. And that's exactly what we've seen with him in going from high school to college. Childs is one of my favorite players in the country. He was a first-team All-American by the end of last season, so there's no thought to start him off anywhere but the first team this year. He's already a college hoops legend, and he still has room to improve. Lavender is going to play a huge role in his team's success.
He was a monster on the glass last season.
He came away with an average of 5 rebounds a game. That's just another aspect of his game that I expect to get better this season, and that's frightening to even think about. Perry is going to have his own personal highlight reel by the end of this season. There's plenty to like about him as a player. He's got that deadly combination of smarts and physical skills that makes him so difficult to defend. A coach's mentality in the body of a world-class athlete. Any questions as to why he's on the list?
Now let's move on to the second-team All-Americans. Not such a bad list, huh? These elite players all have the potential to have historic seasons if the right pieces fall into place.
De Silva was close to a spot on the first team, but there was too much competition this season.
His impact on a game isn't limited to his defense and scoring. Perhaps his biggest role is that of dime dropper. He led his team in assists last season, and his ability to distribute makes him even more dangerous.
Number 5 is in the spotlight for all the right reasons. He was his team's leading rebounder a year ago, and he looks poised to claim that title again this year. He brings unbelievable physicality to the court and plays a tough, intense brand of basketball. Mims is an extremely powerful weapon for his team. We always talk about the guys with great hands. Well, he's got great feet. I love those happy feet. There are few players in the nation with better footwork than him. And that's what allows him to always be in the right position, whether it comes to rebounding or finding space for an open shot. Hunter is one of the great talents in the college game today. He was his conference's Player of the Year last season, and there's no doubt he'll be back in the running for that award this year, too. In fact, he may have some say in the race for National Player of the Year. Bonhoff is ready to have a breakout season.
He returns as his team's #1 scorer. His game is complete, and all he has to do is find a way to stay consistent through the season, and he'll easily be one of the top scorers in the nation.
All right, Clark, that should do it for us here in the studio. For myself and all of us here at 2K Sports, thanks for watching our season preview. Enjoy all the college hoops action to come, everyone.
Some interesting storylines there. UNC is your preseason #1. Charlotte is the only ranked team from the A-10 to begin the year at #6, with your beast big man DeAndre Perry receiving a nod on first team All-American. And Coach A. Falls, who took over for Coach Carter at UT Martin, just took the job at Pepperdine over the offseason. But I think I've kept you waiting long enough. Let's get the scouting report on this Southern University team, who clock in at a 71 overall. We actually entered the season at 80, which is a nice improvement. I believe we were 77 last year, and that dipped down a little bit after Higgins' injury. So Year 3's opening game is the first time Fordham finds themselves as the favorites to begin a new calendar. Southern's top returner is shockingly someone who we've played against before in this series. Jamie Spade is a very talented small ball center who played 2 years at A-10 school Xavier. He couldn't find his niche in rotation, so he opted to transfer to a smaller program, and he flourished being in the spotlight. He was first team all SWAC last year, pacing all Jags in points and rebounds, so Bennett Pincala will have a defensive test to begin his career. Overall, the Jaguars have a talented starting 5. Jaquel Joins is a slippery 2-guard who can put the burners on at any time. Pete Hester is a 6'8" point guard with good vision and outside shooting. Roman Langford is making his college debut as a 65 overall freshman. But when you dig deeper into the bench, you see some lack of depth on display for Southern. That's their main weakness. Alright fellas, I won't keep you waiting any longer. It's time to finally jump into a new year of Fordham Rams action. This is the first year with some expectations for Coach Carter and this improved lineup. So let's head down to Norman for the first round of our preseason tournament and the first handshake with this Season 3 Fordham club. Two new freshmen join this lineup, and the first of two wins the tip-off for Fordham as a new season of Legacy Mode action gets underway, as Bennett Pinkala earns the first possession and his first touch as a college starter. It's the kick out to Kaya Hendry to get things underway. Alright, so our first ever 4-star recruit in this series is fittingly the receiver of a nice pass and the first points of the new season. Kaya Hendry already making an impact, and he just joined the lineup, but another impact player is Jamie Spade, 6'7", 260. He is a very talented guy that we're going to have to keep an eye on. He averaged 3 points at Xavier in his career, then followed that up with 11 points and 8 rebounds as a junior here in the SWAC. So he's definitely flourished at this smaller school as Higgins drives baseline. The kick out to Swanson. They forget about number 15. Fabian Swanson now knocking down a 3 of his own. All right, we all know about Swanson and how he lit it up at the end of his junior year. He's also worked on his outside scoring. You see it on display there. Now 2 seconds to go on this possession. Bennett Pinkala over his left shoulder, and he puts in his first college points as well. So these young rookies already making an impact here early. Up by a bucket with 5 minutes elapsed here in the opening game. It's Hendry that goes inside to Pinkala and will clear it out for Fabian Swanson. Puts his shoulder into Spade and a nice touch on the right side of the hoop. He created the angle with a powerful post move, and Swanson stays perfect. A quick 7 points. I can't believe what I'm seeing so far. As Jaquel Joynes slips past Evangelo Higgins, and Bennett Pinkala is tacked for the goaltend, but it's nice to see him get up a little bit, you know, because that's probably the biggest weakness of Pinkala's game. We're a little bit worried on what kind of impact he can present on defense day one, but at least him having the instincts to get over and make it interesting is a good sign. He smokes slowly up on this possession, but he gets it back, now tied up to 12, and he'll wait a second. Murphy keeps the legs moving, but he misses, and then on the second offensive rebound that Bennett Pinkala grabs, this time he just decides to tip it in. A little bit of skill and luck for the freshman. You already see this is a blue-collar kid who wants to win. We like what Pinkala can bring to the game on the offensive end. 72 overall freshman from Brooklyn. He's got C- potential, and I think he's got plenty of skills to give this team. So Dustin Black now checks in along with Milos Filipovic, as Black with the dribble drive gets past his man, maybe got a piece of his shot, but the 6'4" sophomore retakes possession and will put it through. So Dustin Black with a bit of a breakout there near the tail end of his sophomore year. He checked into the starting 5 with Evangelo Higgins having ankle surgery ending his junior year pretty shortly, and Dustin Black was a star in the starting 5. So we cut over to Southern, who early on is giving us all we can handle. Corey Terrell getting beat there on the closeout. That is Takeo Narbaye, who is the backup center for Southern. 16 apiece with 7:44 left to go. It's Swanson, who has a lane. No one cuts him off, and he takes it all the way. All right, Roman Langford too slow out of position as Swanson draws the blocking foul and has a chance to put in double-digit points. And we are just approaching halfway through the first half of action. Swanson picking up right where he left off. He had 24 points and 8 rebounds in the playoff game, the first playoff game of the series, I might add, against St. Joe's last season, which was a loss, but it was an awesome showing as Chen Lee checks in for Swanson now, grabbing a board, and Preston Murphy records his first 2 points of his senior year. His first field goal in his first 4 tries, but sometimes you just need that one to get going. So now Fordham with their biggest lead of the contest, 21-16. As some reserves check in now for Southern. It's Jaquel Joynes who has his pocket picked by Murphy. And how about Milos Filipovic with the backdoor feed to Dustin Black? Timeout, Jags. This kid can throw a pass, can he? Milos Filipovic, a freshman who redshirted last year. He's a 6'1", crafty European guard. A lot of those European guys seem to be, and he's from the same hometown as Nick Vucevic, who plays center on the Chicago Bulls in the NBA. Montenegro, we've seen some other NBA guys come from there, like Nikola Mirotic, who played on the Pelicans for a while, and the Bulls as well. So he's from a country with some NBA talent. As we check back in here to the gameplay, it's Evangelo Higgins taking this one baseline and using the length to his advantage. Higgins has a lot to prove, but this is where he's best at. taking advantage of smaller defenders and just having a little bit of finesse and touch on his shot when he decides to do so. Now we're under 4 minutes to go. Kai Hendry checks back in. He hasn't really made much of an impact after beginning the game with that silky smooth corner tray. We'll go inside to Chen Lee. Kick out. We see Dustin Black streaking open for the three. Fordham making their 3-point opportunities count here early. Black with a quick 7 points. 3 for 3 from the field as Southern again burns a timeout. We're now up by 7. Fordham went a nice little run here to close out the first half. Hendry to Murphy. It'll be a parallel pick and roll between him and Higgins. I love that play call. He gets the bounce. It's Higgins with 2 more. How about a guard-to-guard pick and roll with our 2 top returning scorers? Like I said before, Evangelo, he had that ankle surgery, only was able to play 17 games last year, but 10 points per game. And, you know, we also need to keep in mind he's switching back to his small forward position where he wasn't as productive, so we'll see if he has what it takes. But all in all, a pretty decent half for Fordham to start things out. You'd like to see us have a bigger lead than just 8, but all in all, we're still playing a solid brand of basketball. We're fighting hard on the glass. We forced the Jags into 6 misses from 3, all while witnessing a spectacular start to Fabian Swanson's senior year. After a nice breakout in his junior year, we weren't sure how much better he'd get as a senior, but I think he's showing us firsthand with 12 points, including a 3-pointer. My man needs some assistance on offense, however. If you take out his 3 for 5 shooting and 5 free throws, we're shooting 9 for 22 as a team and have yet to been to the line outside of him. Dustin Black's building off that explosive end to his freshman year, though, 7 big points, but we just haven't had the production from the backcourt. Higgins and Murphy combined for only 3 for 10 shooting, and Kai Hendry only saw 1 more attempt from the field after that 3-pointer to begin the game. Southern's given themselves a chance by sharing the ball extremely well, and it appears that their length in the starting 5 is bothering us. Outside of Jaquel Joins, every starter is at least 6'7", with 6'7" Morgan Oliver leading the starting 5 with 5 points and 4 rebounds. The Jags have come out ready, while Fordham is still figuring some things out with all these new faces in the lineup. Will we right our wrongs in the second half and put some distance between us and Southern? It's time to find out. Second half starts now. Not a bad showing for the Rams. They found themselves up 8 against the Southern University Jaguars here in the first round of their preseason tournaments as they continue to work Hendry and Pinkala into the starting lineup. And on the first possession, what a pass there. It's Jamie Spade finding the top scorer for the Jags in the first half. Morgan Oliver, who is now 3 for 5 from the floor as Murphy goes quick, and it's taken away by Oliver, who got all the way back on defense and covered some serious ground to stop the transition opportunity. So Southern with the first 4 points of the half and possession, 13:20 left to go in the game. Jaquel Joins with the kick out to Peter Hester, who knocks down the 3 as Preston Murphy fouls him going up, and he knocks down the triple. So a 4-point play will be coming Hester's way as he has a chance to tie up the game. Murphy looked a little out of sorts on offense, and now he's getting burned by Hester on defense with a pretty boneheaded move there. And surprisingly, shockingly, our top scorer from last year will be making an early exit as Dustin Black heads to the scorer's table. Murphy catches his breath there as we try to switch around our looks a little bit as Southern opens up the half on a 14-2 run here in the first 4 and some change. What can we do? I mean, Swanson just shot 2 free throws to finally get us on the board, but we're still without a field goal. What a pass, though, as Dustin Black threads the needle for his first dime. And finally, our first field goal is under our belt. But it looks like Southern has come to play. I don't know what their coach told them in the locker room, but an 8-point Fordham lead has completely vanished, and now the Jags found themselves up by 5 with under 10 to play. Kai Hendry, nice feed into the high post. Swanson goes backdoor to Evo Higgins. Nicely done there. Evo going backdoor for an easy opportunity. He hasn't found many of those early. Not many of these Fordham guards have outside of Dustin Black as Corey Terrell now makes his re-entry into the game. 9-12 left to go in the contest. 41-38. It's not quite panic mode yet for Fordham, but they gotta knock down these opportunities when they get them. Higgins with his first tray ball of the season, as Fordham really needs to shoot better than 44% as they did in the first half, as Hester almost has it stolen by Dustin Black. Timeout as Black continues to be a nice little surge of energy for us here as we try to pick up the pieces and get things going. Nice feed from Murphy, who re-enters the floor. Swanson puts his shoulder into the defender. No good, but look at him soaring in for the offensive putback, and it goes 16 points as he fights off Roman Langford for the board, making the 6'9" freshman from Beaumont, Texas look silly on that one. So we retake the lead thanks to a Corey Terrell free throw, and we have a chance to go up by 2 here. Can he knock down 2 for 2? He does. So 6:48 left to go, and Fordham find themselves back up by a basket as Dustin Black continues to harass these Southern Jag point guards, and it's taken away by Salazar, the backup. How about 2 more for Dustin Black? 9 points off the bench, and Kai Hendry has barely sniffed the floor with Dustin Black playing away. He has. How about a timeout by Southern? 49-47, 6:10 left to go, and this is actually Southern's coach first game here. He had an 0-0 record entering this game, so he's looking for the upset chance as his kick out goes to Higgins as he's loving that left corner. It's number 2 for number 3 as Higgins now is catching up to Fabian Swanson quickly with a big second half. Higgins doing a nice job bouncing back. Now we're under 5 to play, 52-51. I think we've been off a little bit more than we can chew. This was not what we expected. We did not expect Southern to be in it all the way, but Swanson continues to do the dirty work down low. 70% on the game for 20 points as we try to D up here. Can we finally get a stop? We got some mismatches across the board, including Swanson having to cover backup point guard Felix Salazar, who catches and fires off the nice dribble drive opportunity set up by Langford. Oh man, Southern is sharing the ball like they've played together for years and years on end. I mean, the team assists for Southern have been on point. They're sharing the sugar all second half long. 54-53. This time they cover the pick and roll. They brought 3 guys for Fabian Swanson, but then they forget about him as we swing the ball around. What an entry pass by Higgins, threading the needle. 3 Southern Jags look dazed and confused there, trying to close down the middle. Swanson for 2 more, and Higgins can do no wrong here in the second half. Without his performance, we're not in the lead. So now in this possession, this one might look like a wasted trip up the floor. 3 seconds to go. It's forced up by Swanson. So we come up short there. Jags got the stop they needed. Now they can take the lead again with a bucket. 3 minutes to go. The Jags giving us all we can handle as Aladi hands it off to Pete Hester, who looks for a teammate. It's Oliver from 3. It's just short. Rebound by Swanson. Murphy turns off the Jets. Nice teamwork there on the break. Moving up the right flank, it's Higgins for 2 more huge ones. Nicely done orchestrating it there though. Murphy showing off some of those point guard skills he learned last year after playing the point for a season. That definitely helped him on that one. So now 2 minutes to go. You could say that Fordham's in the driver's seat. Plenty of time to shoot here as 2 minutes approaches. Up by 3, trying to push it to 2 possessions. And everyone in the gym knows who it's going to. Fabian Swanson with the hook. 24 points for my man, Fabian. How about this opening day performance? Swanson doing it all and then some for the Rams. 1:41 left to go. Aladi handoff to Jaquel Joins, who has been giving problems to Higgins on defense all day long. And now that's Swanson's 4th personal foul. Of course, Joins makes 2 of 2 as Dustin Black continues to see the floor over Kai Hendry in the game's winning moments. 1:38 left to go as we've been breaking this press well all day long. We get some free space for Swanson as he scans the floor for a teammate. He'll give it to Dustin Black, setting up the offense. We got plenty of time, no need to rush. We'll enter the post for Pinkala. Kick out to Dustin Black, who shoots a little too quickly for my liking, and it was well short. He's had that jumper going all day long, but might not be the look there you want, as Hester is open for 3. Preston Murphy again gets tagged by Hester, who now has 16 on the game, but Murphy attacks him right back the other direction. It's only his 2nd field goal, but it's the 2 biggest points of the ball game. You could tell in his eyes he wanted to get Hester back. I know Pete has had his number all day long, but Murphy doesn't care about that. He wants the win. 50 seconds to go now. Jaquel joins, wants to ISO against Murphy. This time he stops him, but a little handoff to Langford in the corner is all they need to tie it back up at 62 apiece. Southern looking for the upset here in our preseason tournament. 36 seconds left. It's a 10-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Who will it go to? We'll run a little play for Higgins. He'll flash to the free throw line. They're on him. So kick out to Swanson. Again, they bring 2 defenders. It's not going to be easy if we go to number 15, so why not change it up? 8 seconds left. Dustin Black wants to screen. He finds Pinkala, who has the ball. Bounce off his hands. It's taken away by Spade. 8 seconds left. Hester to Joins. Blocked. He regains possession. Pinkala gets a piece, and Fordham calls timeouts. We lock up in a huge way to save the lead. And Pinkala, with the boneheaded turnover on one end, more than makes up for it on the other. Oh man, this is an instant classic. Look at the bench reacting to the first block and then the second one. This is college basketball, everybody, at its best. But with 2 seconds left, it doesn't look like we're going to see a pretty clean look here. It looks like overtime is destined for us to knock off these upset-hungry Jaguars. So we put in our guards to try to have a little bit of speed, maybe a half-court heave here with 2 seconds left as Murphy gets the running start. He'll heave one, he gets it off in time as Murphy hits it and sends home Fordham with the win, 65-62. Oh my goodness. Preston Murphy pulls from 40 feet and hits it in the face of Jaquel Joins to put Fordham over the top and survive the upset. The Rams with a collective sigh of relief as a 1 in a million shots hits the back iron as Murphy sends us home happy and sends us off to probably play Nebraska with a chance to get revenge. Oh my goodness, Murphy has made the impossible look ordinary yet again. Obviously, we hoped it wouldn't be as climactic like this against a 71 overall team, but we got the first win of the season under our belts against a very hungry team. Very happy we were able to squeak it out. But how about my man Swanson starting off strong with a 24-point performance against Jamie Spade, who's no scrub. There was nothing that Swanson couldn't do on offense, inside, outside, second chance points. He delivered while limiting Spade to only 6 points. Also, I love what I saw from Higgins. Most of his production came in the second half when we needed it. 14 huge points with a key defensive block there at the end of the game. And Murphy made up for his sour performance with a shot for the ages. It's never about the numbers when it comes to your back players. It's always about whether they deliver or not when the game is on the line. And I know for you guys who are new to this series, you may want to comment about sliders. I don't think a slider change would help you with a shot that deep. I mean, that was pure luck, man. Speaking of which, let's check in with some of the freshmen and their debuts. Pinkala had some flashes. He was more productive in the first half, but he still made up for his costly mistake on the pick and roll there at the end, helping Higgins shut down Southern's last possession with their chance to take the lead. Hendry made the first basket of the game, but followed up with 0 for 4 shooting and only 1 assist in 17 minutes. If Dustin Black continues to play like he did today, there's no reason why he won't regain the starting job. Some of you guys may already be on the Dustin train with the way he closed the season last year, and I wouldn't blame you. Also, we need to talk about Corey Terrell, who played some big minutes there in the second half. He was big underneath. But hats off to Southern. They'll be very tough in the SWAC this year. They gave us a run for our money and opened it up with a big run out of the locker room and gave us a game from then on out while shooting 61% in the second half. I know this is a big miracle win for us and a thriller, but we have to remember that was against Southern University, and it may open some eyes that we had this much trouble defending them and all in all beating them. So these doubters will undoubtedly be watching the next round of the tournament against Big 12 team Nebraska, who survived and upset themselves as well, 52-47 against Loyola Marymount. This will be the second meeting of these teams within the series, as we narrowly missed a chance at upsetting these guys last year, so perhaps we have enough firepower to beat them this time around. A win here and we advance to the semifinals. A loss and we head home to begin the regular season. We'll find out what's in store for us next time on the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series with the main man, Coach Carter. Should we be concerned how difficult it was to beat a SWAC school? Should we be concerned with Kai Hendry's lackluster college debut? We're going to need some more of a sample size from this team to answer these questions, and we'll be getting that next time. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the launch of Season 3 and a crazy finish as we narrowly avoid the upset. And I can assure you more of this series is coming soon. So stay tuned, everyone. This is College Sports Revive signing out. I hope you have a great night, and we'll see you around.